So if you've been on Twitch recently, then you've probably noticed a new streamer that literally came out of nowhere and has blown up beyond belief. He's been around streamers as big as Lacey himself and Aiden Ross, and he's even gotten followed back on social medias by Mr. Beast. The success of this streamer has literally came out of nowhere and has even led to multiple people on the internet calling him an industry plant. But who exactly is this streamer and how did he manage to gain all of this success in what seems like a very short amount of time? Well, that's probably why you're here, but first, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the Tribe House with the biggest trapper, and while you're at it, don't forget to click that very first link down below in my description to join my Discord server and become an official member of the community. Now, with all of that being said, let's get into the rise of Twitch's newest industry plant. Okay, so to start, the streamer we're going to be covering in today's video goes by the name of Marlon, or Mar3OG, and even though he's been one of the most popular streamers on the internet recently, he didn't attain all of this success overnight like many people think. Marlon was born in the country of Sweden on September 7th, 2021, and for the most part in his early life, Marlon would grow up to be an athlete, playing multiple sports throughout his childhood, specifically soccer and basketball. And he ended up becoming extremely talented at both of these sports. But although Marlon loved soccer so much, in 2020 he decided to make a very life-changing decision where he decided to move to the US in order to pursue a career in basketball. In the 2020-2021 season, Marlon played for the Lower Columbia College Red Devils, which was a JUCO team. And even though this team did not look like a good basketball team at all, in the 2020-2021 season they still managed to go 7-2 over the course of 9 games, which I would consider to be pretty good. And according to a quote from Marlon's player profile, he wanted to work hard at this school in order to acquire a D1 offer, and of course, like any other hooper, he wants that to lead to his dreams of making the NBA. Now, unfortunately, things didn't quite work out this way for Marlon because during his one season with this school, he only averaged about 3.3 points, 6.5 rebounds, and only about 1 assist per game. Now, even though this was only really a small sample size of what Marlon could do on the basketball court, even though he appeared to be a pretty good rebounder to be 6'5", stats like these usually don't get players from the JUCO level to the D1 level, let alone get them in the NBA. And not to mention, of course, he did end up starting his college athlete career at the worst possible time because, as all of you should know, the world literally shut down around this time due to COVID, and that ultimately ended up forcing Marlon to return back to Sweden and unfortunately ended his college basketball career. But this wouldn't be entirely bad news for Marlon because he managed to find some daylight in the struggle. Marlon decided to post a TikTok documenting his journey back home to Sweden and seeing his mom for the very first time in 6 months. This TikTok would end up catching a bit of a spark and ultimately motivated Marlon to begin his career in social media. So while he had a little bit of buzz going on TikTok, Marlon decided to keep posting content to this account, but it's probably not the type of content that you're thinking of because instead of posting funny viral clips or whatever it is that he posts now, Marlon began picking up a lot of traction on TikTok by posting thirst traps. Many women and maybe even some men in the world found Marlon attractive, so that of course led to him doing hundreds of thousands and even millions of views on TikTok, and he even tried pursuing a career in modeling, which ended up being very short-lived for him. But all of these things would end up leading Marlon to his true passion in life, which was streaming. Marlon started his career off as a desktop streamer in a very small room in Sweden where he averaged around 100 viewers, and then he would transition into more of an IRL streamer where he basically just streamed his day going around the country of Sweden. And this ended up working out pretty well for him, building him more and more traction to his Twitch channel, and ultimately led to him renting a garage to do his streams in once the viewers and subscribers started picking up. And after about 7 months of pure dedication and grinding, everything would start changing for Marlon in October of 2024. This is where Marlon would end up meeting popular YouTuber and former Nilk member Nick Nair-Sina. I'm sure I probably pronounced that wrong, but if you're unfamiliar with him, he used to be a very popular member of the Nilk Boys, and now he does his own YouTube channel as well where he takes a bunch of people to like college frat parties and things like that. But anyways, after noticing all of the hard work and grinding that Marlon has been doing on the internet and really admiring how he made the best out of his situations, Nick would end up flying out to Copenhagen, which is the capital of Denmark, and this is where him and Marlon would meet in person for the first time. The two of them instantly hit it off, And this led to Nick being a part of one of Marlon's streams, which was honestly a pretty good stream. It was super high energy and everything like that. And after developing such a good relationship in a short amount of time, Nick offered Marlon an unlikely life-changing opportunity. Now, the reason why I described it like that is because Nick really just offered Marlon to move to America and live on his couch, which is an offer many people probably wouldn't accept, but due to Marlon's circumstances at the time, such as being borderline homeless, after receiving his visa to live in America, he decided to take Nick up on his offer, and this would be the best decision he's ever made in his life. So in December of 2024, 2 months after meeting Nick and doing the stream with him, Marlon posted a video to his channel titled, "We Did It, I'm Finally Moving Out of the Garage." And just 1 month later, in January of 2025, Marlon would announce to the world that he's finally moved to LA. But it wasn't exactly everything that it seemed, because not only was his only place to really sleep was Nick's couch, he also had nowhere to really stream at. So this is where Marlon came up with the idea to start streaming in a small shed in the backyard of the house. He did a 1-week project inside of the shed, creating his entire streaming setup. And after that, he started streaming every day consistently. One of the main forms of content that he did when he first moved to LA was different types of content involving females, specifically going on Hinge. But he later transitioned into doing more IRL styles of content around the city of LA, including linking with some of the popular FaZe members. So the first FaZe member that Marlon ever really streamed with was Lacey, but this was prior to him even living in LA or even America for that matter. His first time ever collabing with Lacey was in November of 2024, where the two would do various collabs in Mexico City, as I said, prior to him even living in LA. But anyways, besides all of that, as I said, when he first moved to LA, he began picking up a lot of traction, and this led to him collabing with other streamers as well, such as some of the popular FaZe members, Ron and Jason. And due to his athletic background, he was specifically involved in their sports streams, such as when he competed in the Team Ron versus Team Jason soccer match. And then he would later get invited to events of other FaZe members such as Platboy Max whenever he started doing his weekly basketball streams. Now, this is personally the first time I ever came across Marlon, mostly because the chat was glazing him and I had no real idea of who he was, but he did end up being pretty good in the basketball runs, and this would really lead to him being around FaZe as a whole a lot more. In mid-February, Marlon would get invited to play in the 5-star versus NMS basketball match. If you're unfamiliar with the community names, that's basically Team Max versus Team Jason, and Marlon would end up being the star for Jason's team, scoring 31 of the total 70 points himself, while only missing 4 shots as well. And this was a huge stream for both Max, Jason, and everyone else involved, and I personally think this is where the breakout really started happening for Marlon, because after this, he even got invited to the FaZe house for the very first time, and he would start collabing with more and more of the FaZe members. Marlon became almost a regular on most of these FaZe members' streams, and because of how consistent he was being with his own content and the clips that he had going viral on TikTok, Marlon once again started to blow up. And because of the great relationship he had with the members of FaZe, this led to him forming the duo that's currently taking over the internet. Marlon and Lacey, who had already met months prior in Mexico, began doing various collab streams together, and after it began blowing up on TikTok, the two would take these collabs to the next level. They began traveling to very popular cities such as New York and Miami, and here the both of them would do various IRL streams.
Me and Marlon are dead ass bros, off camera, off stream. Like, he's so quickly become one of my best friends. We sit there at like off stream and we'll talk for like 2 hours about like real life shit. Like, there's shit that only Marlon knows that's going on in my life right now that like I haven't told anybody. And I don't know, he's really real.
And as I've already said multiple times in this video, during this entire period, it really just seemed like everything was going great for Marlon. He was blowing up beyond belief on various platforms and even getting recognized by some of the biggest streamers in the world, such as Aiden Ross.
Marlon's actually good, bro. I can't wait to meet Marlon, bro. I'm very excited. I'm like a very big fan of him, for real. I saw that when he went to the Twitch HQ. I really like Marlon.
So after getting that invite to try out for Aiden Ross into Jake Paul's soccer club, Marlon would take full advantage of this opportunity and end up going to Miami to collab with Adin Ross for the very first time, which of course ended up working out great for him as well. And he later had the opportunity to be included in the stream featuring Adin Ross and other top streamers such as Your Rage and Silky as well. And even though they really just sat in a room and talked about different experiences after Adin Ross' brand risk boxing event, it was probably just still a surreal moment for Marlon to even be included after starting his career literally less than a year ago. And Marlon isn't only dominating the streaming world right now, he's also rekindled his career in modeling, because shortly after moving to LA, he even got the chance to model for the popular brand Polo Ralph Lauren.
I signed with one of the biggest, right? Model agencies in the world. They're very exclusive. They don't sign a lot. I was their first actual signing as a streamer, which is crazy. It's nuts. I thank them for the opportunity and shit like that. Right off the bat, after I signed, I got the call. They said, Polo Ralph Lauren wants you out there on Thursday, bro.
And if being around some of the biggest streamers in the world and modeling for brands as big as Polo wasn't surreal enough for Marlon, he's been going so viral all over the internet recently that he even got a follow on Instagram from Mr. Beast, who we all know is the biggest content creator in the world. I mean, literally just imagine being in a completely different country just 7 months ago, being borderline homeless, streaming in a garage in the middle of nowhere, to now living in LA and being one of the most popular upcoming streamers there is. There's still some people all over the internet that's truly wondering, how did Marlon get this popular, or where did he come from and things like that. And this has led to people calling him things like an industry plant. And I'll be the first to admit, it does seem like a bit of an industry plant situation. It's kind of like when a rapper just randomly blows up overnight and becomes like one of the biggest artists in the entire world and no one knows how it happened. That's kind of what it's similar to, but if you're familiar with Twitch or his journey in specific at all, you'll know that this isn't no type of industry plant type of situation. He's really just a person who put the work in over the course of a few months, made the right connections early into his career, and now he's one of the most viral upcoming streamers taking over the internet. It's still very early into Marlon's career, so we don't know where he's going to end up or how this is going to go. But if his career continues on the path that it's already been on, then I think he'll be just fine. But that's just my personal opinion. As you guys know, the only opinion that I really care about is you guys' opinion. So with that being said, be sure to let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you think Marlon is an industry plant? Are you familiar with him or how he blew up? Or have you just never heard of him before in your life? Let me know down below in the comments. And while you're at it, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join me on my journey to 15K. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy the video, be sure to give me a thumbs down. As you guys know, any feedback is good feedback to me. And as always, I appreciate all of the love and support. And I'll catch you boys and girls in the next banger, man.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.